All right, so in this video, we're going to give you some hints for number 3 on page 322. And I'm not going to give you the answer in this video, but I'll give you some hints that will hopefully make it possible for you to get through this. Okay, so for number 3, I've copied this pretty much out of the book. So let's take a look at what we're being asked to do here. We're being asked to estimate. We're being asked to estimate. And if you remember back from doing estimating earlier in the class, that means put your calculator away. We're just going to kind of stand back and squint at this and come up with some numbers. And if they're decently in the ballpark, that's good enough. That is good enough. So what we want to do is just kind of compare the cost of gas for these two vehicles. And that doesn't necessarily say figure out the exact cost, just get an idea of how much the gas would cost for these two vehicles on this 150-mile trip. Gas is $3.50 a gallon, and the two mileages, we have 22 miles to the gallon for Jenna's car, and for the rental, we have 40 miles to the gallon. So remember, with estimating, you can change the values a little bit. You don't want to change them a lot, but accuracy is less important with estimating. What's more important is choosing nice, easy numbers that you can do in your head. And so what we want to do is compare this 4Runner with this rental car and come up with some kind of conclusion using numbers if we can, even just in the very rough sense. Some kind of conclusion about which one's going to cost more and maybe how much more. And write this out in a sentence. All right. So in the last, for part 3A, you estimated, which is a good exercise to get you kind of thinking about what these numbers really mean. But that doesn't take the place of good old-fashioned calculating to get an exact answer. And that's what they ask you to do in 3B. And let me give you a hint about how this is going to go down. If you think back to what you did in section 3.1 with all that dimensional analysis, that's what I'm going to want you to do here, is use dimensional analysis to get through this. Even if you think that you can do it some other way, for the practice, do the dimensional analysis. So remember how that works is that you first figure out where you want to end. And where we want to end here is with the cost of the gas. So that's going to be dollars. So all the way over on the right, you're going to have dollars over 1. And so what you're going to do when you set up your rates, you have $3.50 per gallon. That's a rate right there. 22 miles per gallon. That also is a rate. And 40 miles to the gallon. That's a rate that you're going to use in a separate calculation for that car. And furthermore, we have this 150 miles here. And that's not a rate, but we still have to use it in this calculation. So remember what we do with those numbers. Kind of like we want to end up with a dollar amount that's not a rate, so we put it over 1. So you're going to want to do something kind of similar with that 150 miles. So pull out your dimensional analysis skills here. Figure out which one of these you want to start with and line them up so that everything cancels but the dollars. And so you're going to be doing this 2 separate times for both Jenna's vehicle and the rental vehicle. So good luck.